AITA for refusing to spend a lot of money on gifts from the baby to my stepdaughters. My husband has 2 daughters from a previous marriage. I've mostly kept my distance from discussions between him and his ex, Mina, to avoid tension. Recently, the girls shared that Mina is pregnant via a donor, which excited them, but they didn't respond positively when we announced our own pregnancy. They see Mina's baby as a real sibling, while viewing my child differently. Mina gifted the girls $500 worth of presents from her baby, and now my husband insists we match that amount to foster a good relationship between the girls and our son. My husband, 33M, has 2 daughters, 9 and 8, from a previous marriage. He shares custody of them with his ex-wife, Mina, 33F. They divorced 7 years ago. I met him 5 years ago, and we're almost 2 years married now. This is my 30F. First biological child. Things are tense between us and Mina. I mostly stay out of discussions between them because she does not like it, and ultimately, the girls don't need more tension between their 2 homes for the sake of me showing up. That doesn't mean I don't discuss things with my husband, or that I'm uninvolved, but when it comes to communicating with their mom, I don't insist that my voice be heard equally like the 2 bio and legal parents. My husband would like me to be an equal part of it, but tension is significantly less since I made the decision not to sit in on these discussions, which I would only go to support my husband, but even that was something Mina disliked. I bring this up because this is being taken into consideration on this point. A few weeks before I found out I was pregnant, the girls told my husband Mina was pregnant. Mina is single, for anyone who asks, and is pregnant via a donor. They were really excited. When we told them we were expecting, they weren't excited. They see their mom having a baby as different than me having a baby with their dad. We get along, so this was a surprise. But they don't see me as a parent, so them, the baby, isn't a sibling. While their mom's baby has just their mom, so they're real siblings. This is something being addressed via therapy, and my husband and I talking to them. Now on to the gifts. Mina bought the girls roughly $500 worth of gifts each that they'll get from the baby when she's born. My husband wanted us to do this too, and he told me we need to match it at least because they already prefer their sister from mom and still don't see their brother from us as a real sibling. Neither baby is born yet, BTW. I told him I didn't think we should spend a lot on gifts like that. My husband said he's worried it's just another negative for our son if we don't. My husband's parents found out through Mina about the gifts, and they told us we better do better than that. I told them it was an insane amount of money to spend for this. They accused me of not caring about the girls and not valuing a good relationship or a good sibling relationship between them and my son. They think it's unreasonable to not want to spend a lot of money in these circumstances. AITA? Relevant comments. Commenter. NTA. I couldn't help but laugh at the idea of a newborn coming out and clutching a gift for their siblings. Unless it's a gift certificate, I'd hope for a C-section. Even then, talk about the worst paper cut of your life. Apologies if I went a bit far. I was just hoping to make you chuckle when I know you're under a lot of stress. If you engage in this competition with Mina, it won't stop here. I have no doubt it'll escalate. Rise above and don't play this game. You're doing the right thing by going to family therapy. I really hope it makes a difference. OP. It is a funny concept, I will admit. Like, I get why some parents do it and why there are people who like it. But to me, it makes more sense for really little kids who won't understand as much. Even then, to each their own. But the competition aspect for us is just not what I want to engage in. Commenter. We did a little dog that barks, and I think cost like $10 for our eldest when our middle was born, because they are 3 years apart. But we didn't do anything when our youngest was born, because they are 5 years younger than our middle child. The age is what makes the difference. Like you said, younger ones just see competition for attention, and older siblings know the difference. Even still, $500 each is excessive. I don't even spend that much on Xmas or birthdays, and makes me feel like Mina is competing against you, and your husband and in-laws seem to be going along with it. You need to tell your husband this can't happen, and if he refuses to listen, tell him couples counseling because you will not allow him to use your child as a prop in his competition with his ex-wife. OP. This worries me too. Our son is already at a disadvantage with the girls, but to then enter him into a competition willingly is not something I'm okay with, and going and spending $1,000 and beyond to compete is just not okay to me. Story 2. AITA for telling my ex. I had a miscarriage when it was actually an abortion. My now ex, fiancé, 28M, and I, 31F, learned of the pregnancy a few weeks ago. I was excited at first, but this last week, I found out my fiancé had cheated on me while he was out at work. For background, his job is 2 hours from home, and he chose to avoid the daily commute home by staying with his friend in the town they work in. We have 3 kids together already. Our wedding was planned for this next spring. He's also been accused of cheating on me twice before, but there was no concrete evidence from either time. But this time, I caught him myself. Back to our current situation. He tried to hide this other woman from me, and their messages were disgusting to read, and it alluded to them having slept together. When I confronted him, it took him a full day to admit he knew about her in the messages. And then it took him another day to tell me that he's been drinking every night the last 3 weeks, and he doesn't remember sleeping with her even if he did. He also refuses to call the woman with me in the room. Having heard all that, I'm obviously upset. I'm livid. I can't trust him again. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I haven't worked in the last 5 years. He's put my credit in shambles. He totaled my only mode of transportation last year and hasn't replaced it. Now I plan on separating from him and keeping the kids with me. This pregnancy was something he always said was all on me, since I was the last one to initiate having sex before the pregnancy. So now that I plan on separating, I also plan on terminating this pregnancy of my own volition. Since the pregnancy was my fault, I obviously can take care of this how I feel is best. And I refuse to have more ties to this man who obviously has no respect for me. I plan on telling him it was a miscarriage, as it's really none of his business now what I do. But am I the asshole for lying about having a miscarriage instead of an abortion? Edit. I'd like to clarify something quickly. I have not denied him access to our current children. In fact, I have even allowed him to stay in the house despite what he's done, just for the sake of the children. He would stay in a separate room, obviously, but he has chosen to stay with his friend rather than be here. When the kids are around, I am cordial with him, but obviously maintain distance. He's a shitty partner, but I know my kids love their father, and I'd hate to punish them by keeping them separated. So I've given him chances to see the kids, and he has prioritized his work. His choice. Relevant comments. Commenter. If he finds out, just tell him you can't remember. He should understand. Commenter. She was so drunk that day, she couldn't remember. Commenter. Unless her fiancé is crazy and hurts her. Honestly, she should get the abortion and delete this post and never inform him it was anything other than miscarriage. One of the greatest causes of death in pregnant women is murder by a sexual partner. Story 3. AITA for telling my best friend I will never give birth to his child. I've known this friend, let's call him Jared, 30 mem, since we were in school. We did everything together and were inseparable. I was even the first person he came out to, and we've always supported each other. When we were 15, he told me for the first time that he wanted me to give birth to his child with his future husband, because he, being a man, could never get pregnant. At the time, I told him no, because I had recently watched a series where a woman gave birth to the triplets of his brother and became depressed afterward. I've always been a sensitive person and suffer from anxiety and depression because of childhood trauma, so even at that age, I was aware that I couldn't go truff something like that. But he got mad and didn't talk to me for 2 days. Then we went back to talking normally, but every now and then, he would bring the topic again, getting angry every time I told him I would never do that for anyone, even if he paid me. I explained to him 1,000 times, but he didn't seem to understand, until eventually, he stopped mentioning it, and I thought he had finally matured and understood me. But this year, his boyfriend proposed to him, and during a dinner with friends, he asked me again. They said they would pay me well, and that if I needed therapy, they will cover those expenses too. But I got angry and told him that I would never give birth to his child, and that I didn't understand why he kept insisting. That if he was so willing to compensate me well financially, he should save that money and pay a woman willing to do it. But as always, he gets mad at me and leaves the restaurant with his boyfriend following him. Most of my friends, women to be more precise, are on my side and agree that it's uncomfortable that he keeps insisting, while other friends from the community think I'm overreacting and that it would be a nice thing to do. Most of my friends are on my side, but they think we should meet to talk about this more calmly. But what bothers me the most, it's that he is being like this for years, and I always have to seek him out or wait for him to approach me again. I appreciate him a lot because we've been friends for so long, 15 years, but I'm tired of this pointless argument and him getting mad at me for deciding about my body. He always says he wants me to give birth his child because I'm the person he trusts most in the world, but I really don't want to do it. But at the same time, I don't want to lose him. Relevant comments. Commenter. He wants you to carry his child because he trusts you so much. Then why doesn't he trust you when you say it will never happen? NTA. And frankly, I would consider breaking off this friendship. Just because he's gay doesn't make the idea of laying claim to your womb any less creepy. Can you imagine this in a straight scenario? A man telling a woman over and over that he's not even dating, that they will carry his child? At the very least, I'd call it like I see it. Stop fantasizing about using my body to fulfill your desires. Commenter. This guy sees you as a womb that he is entitled to, and not as a person who is allowed to have their own boundaries and bodily autonomy. He is not your friend. He thinks he owns your body. This entire dialogue is abusive as fuck. Tell this guy to fuck off. Block him entirely. NTA. Story 4. Me, 20M, thinks my GF 21F is cheating on me. Should I break up now or wait? Sorry for any grammar or spelling mistakes. English is not my first language. I think my GF is cheating on me. We have been together for 7 months now. It was really good in the first 5 months. We are in a really conservative society and country, so intimacy in its physical form is not really an option. Till marriage, only sexting or sexy time on the phone for the most part. We had a really good intimacy life, all things considered, and we actually did some oral stuff in her house. And remember, she has a really high sex drive, so everything was good. For the next part, everything changed. In the 4-month mark, our intimacy life was decreased from 5 times a week to 1 or 2 at best, and maybe 1 every 2 weeks. I was thinking it's okay. Our honeymoon period was over, and that's our comfortable routine, and I was fine with it. But it was weird for me because of her high drive, and our chatting and calling for maybe 5 hours calling a day, to 1 to now, non-existence, and our chats become dry. But okay, I was trying to make sure there was something to talk about. At this point, no intimacy at all. And my suspicion of cheating started when she was working a week to cover a friend's shift. She was tired and sick that day, so I went to pick her up and treat her for something to eat or drink, then drive her home. She was in the bathroom and left her phone, and I have a fingerprint on her phone, so I was curious to open it and do silly stuff there, and I opened WhatsApp and found a weird contact, never knew who. Is this man? I opened the chat, and it was weird. She told him she was sick, but okay, a friend would pick her up. She referred to me as a friend, not her BF, and the chat felt weird and not connected. I tried to scroll to the beginning of the chat, but was really close. But the chat started with him sending her sexual stickers. It's really inappropriate. And who starts a chat like this? Maybe she deleted the previous chat, or was in a call and they were fucking, and he sends her this to turn her on. She's sometimes like that. And I remember she didn't respond to the stickers by good or a bad reply. Then she come fast from the bathroom. Didn't get more info except his first name and his number. I took a screenshot of it. She noticed I opened her phone but didn't say anything, and we had a normal day at the end of the day. I called her to apologize for opening her phone and was wondering who is this guy and why the chat was weird and what is the purpose of this stickers. She told me he is just a friend from Tinder. BTW, we meet on Tinder. And the small chat history, she liked to delete chats from time to time for storage and didn't have any explanation for the sexual stickers. And that's the end of the discussion. She didn't get mad at me for opening her phone and told me she trusted me. That's why I have a fingerprint on hers. After that, Overlove-Type just died, and her 2 grandmas died in the same week. But she wasn't close to them. But she was super busy and all the time sit with her family and relatives, so no time to talk to me or even call me. She was busy and tried. After a while, this behavior just grow, and she was turning down my advances for something intimate, and to ask her to just talk on the phone for a while by telling me she was busy, tired, she was around here family, or they in the other room, they will hear her. That was never a problem before. And every time I show that I'm bothered by this, she will tell me tomorrow or tonight, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I will make it up to you." That is never the case. And the weird part is, when in real life or a date together, she will be a 70% of her old self, but still refuse any intimate stuff beyond holding hands, or the occasional, put my hands on her legs. I'm really suspicious that she is cheating on me with that Tinder friend, and get her sexual needs from him and not bothering to see me at all, because she told me that she has a high drive and her sex life is so important and she likes it, and that can fix a relationship or destroys it. That's why I'm so confused that how she can manage 2 months without anything. And the weird stuff with this guy, I did some research on him and I got his FB accounts, his IG, his numbers, and his first and second name, and I'm really stuck right now and don't know what to do about her. So if anyone has any help or suggestions, please help me. Comments. Commenter. I am not a good advisor, so I prefer not to tell you to do anything. But from what I have read, she lost interest in you, and that is what matters. You are not married, so you don't have to try everything to win her back. Accept that you lost her. If you want to keep hanging out and potentially fucking her, then just shut up and let things happen on its own. If you couldn't take it, break up with her and find another girl. OP. Yeah, you are right, but really have mixed feelings. If she was really cheating, I would throw her away in a heartbeat. But after all of this, she wanted to hang out at every chance she got. That makes me confused. Is she really still interested? And that's all a vase, or she is cheating and just want to hang out because I pay for most of the day, but she sometimes instead to pay the meal off or the coffee. I don't know, man. Commenter. Maybe you are now her plan B. Commenter. She is sidelining you for the other guy. Just break up and move on before you find incriminating proof of her cheating on you. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest ones. Have a great day.